Once upon a time, we used to know what kind of place we lived in. We used to know what kind of fruit to expect and when. We used to know when it was going to be wet, when it was going to be dry. We used to know when it was going to be cold or when it was going to be hot. But not no more. Why? Because of this big, terrible thing that everybody's talking about, climate change. But you know what climate change is though? It's the long-term change in the global or regional climate patterns. So the earth is getting hotter. Why? Because of things that we're doing like driving cars, using fuel and using electricity. It's activities like these that just burn real fossil fuels and put more carbon dioxide in our air, which is making the earth hotter. It is called greenhouse gas emissions. We put in too much greenhouse gases in our atmosphere. Even the oceans getting hotter. And this can lead to things like coral bleaching and sea level rise. Coral bleaching is when the coral does fling away all the algae that it does eat to survive. And you know, coral just like we, if it don't got nothing to eat, it can just get sick and dead. And when the coral reef get mashed up, all the fish and things that live around it can just swim away. And if them gone, all the things that are important to we like fishermen and oysters on a Friday night, well that can just be things that we read about in a history book. Warmer waters are making the sea expand and causing the sea level to rise. This can put us at risk for all kinds of impacts such as coastal erosion and even flooding. Too much sea level rise can cause the beaches to erode and it can cause the sea to move further inland. And we know how much problems that could cause. Just look at how much smaller Mullins Beach get. What if the sea keep rising? Just now the sea can be all up in your veranda. And it's not just that the sea getting hotter. All that carbon dioxide that in the air mixing with the seawater and making it more acid. So with the coral bleaching and the sea getting more acid, the fish can be in bare trouble. And that means one of two things. They can either left the place or they can just dead. And flying fish done left the place. So I really hope that don't give them other fish friends no ideas. And when it comes to the weather, I hear that things can get crazy. Projections show that we could get long periods of time when it dry and then short bursts of heavy rainfall. So it sounds like we only got two options, hot and dry or get washed away. And none of them really ain't sound so good to me. And to make it worse, we may get more intense storms. And you can't trick me. I done see what happened in the other Caribbean islands and I know this thing real serious. So if these are the sort of things that we can expect to happen, we have to make sure that we're ready to deal with them. And that's why governments start building up coastal protection with boardwalks, like what you see on Accra down on the south coast. And I also see government doing things like fixing pipes and putting in special tanks to make sure that people continue to get their water. And to handle the flooding situation, we can make sure that things like rain and storm water harvesting stations become common like potholes in the road. Everywhere in Bimbo got them. And then we will be able to get as much water as we want when it's raining instead of just letting it run off to the sea. But these are big things that government will got to do. But we can't leave it all to the government. What about things that we as young people could do? Well, they said that putting carbon dioxide in the air is a problem, so we got to take it out. And trees and bushes do that for free. You know them is taking carbon dioxide, do some magic, and then put out oxygen? Photosynthesis. That's what your teacher was talking about. So we could plant more trees to get rid of some of the carbon dioxide. And don't start complaining about how that's too much work. Come on guys, it's not rocket science. And all these environmental groups and clubs, they can come on board and help us do it. Also, we really need to focus on reducing our greenhouse gas emissions. And I realized that the landfills has released enough methane gas. And methane gas does contribute to the rising global temperatures. So, if we reduce the amount of garbage that we send to the landfill, we can reduce the amount of methane that we produce. So give the landfills a ease. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. And you might even get a little money from it, because I hear that they're giving you a little something when you're bringing your bottles and your cardboard and thing. And don't talk about water. It's taking enough electricity to pump water to your house. So stop wasting so much water. Turn off the pipe and use soap in your skin. Wash your father's car with a bucket and stop playing with the hose. If you see a leak, don't just walk away, report it. Now these might seem like small things that won't do much, but if everybody start doing them, it will have a big impact. And it can only work if everybody pitches in. I mean, the entire world contributed to the problem, so now the entire world gotta work together to be part of the solution. And change is a bad word that nobody wants to hear, especially if it means taking on new things. But if we practice this all now while we're young, it can become second nature. So let's work on doing all the things that we need to do to handle the impacts of our changing climate. But there's a lot more that we need to know about climate change, and we have to be ready to take it on. So if you want to learn more about this, check out these links.